Hi, I'm Amanda Skelton, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you this nice card. I'm using the Dragonfly Garden bundle. So that comes with the stamp set and the punch. So you've got the large dragonfly and the small dragonfly, which match the image on the stamp set. And obviously if you buy it as part of the bundle, that already includes the 10% bundle savings, so that's really good value. So that's what I'd like to show you today. And what I've done here is I've used vellum, so I've got a stamped image below the vellum, and it just gives it a very subtle sort of paler look to it. It just makes it look quite nice and subtle. So that's going to be a card that way round. And yes, so then we're going to use the dragonflies to decorate it. So this will show you how you can use a stamped image as a background, or instead of a designer series paper, you can create your own backgrounds, and this lends itself quite nice to that technique. I'm using Merry Merlot as my cardstock and also as my ink. Because the vellum does make the images that are stamped a little bit more subtle, I tend to use a dark coloured, so like a Night of Navy. You probably want a strong colour underneath to make it stand out. Okay, so what do we need? So we need a piece of cardstock. So this is a piece of A4 cut in half lengthwise. So that measures about 11 5/8 by 4 1/8, and then I've scored it in half, and that's at about 5 13/16, but it's basically halfway across the width. Then we want a piece of white card, and that's going to be our base for our stamped image, and that wants to be 4 inches by 5 5/8 inch. And then we want a piece of vellum that needs to be the same size as your white card. So again, that needs to be 4 inches by 5 5/8. And then we're going to create this band across for your sentiment. And the coloured card needs to be 4 inches by 1 1/8 inch, and the white piece needs to be 4 inches by 1 inch. So it's going to go to the edges, which have a little band top and bottom. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, the other thing that you'll need is a piece of scrap card for stamping the dragonfly that we can add to the top. So I don't know if you can see there, so that's raised and coloured on the front. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, so you can fold your card in half and put that to the side for the moment, and your vellum. And so we want to start with our background piece of card. So I'm using there's two butterflies. No, I keep calling them butterflies, they're not butterflies. Dragonflies, very slightly different design on the wings. So it's entirely up to you which one you'd like to use. Both of them fit within the punch. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. So like I said, I'm using Merry Merlot. And if you're making a design or making a background pattern with like the same image, or not even the same image, but with a stamped image, then always work from the middle and work out. So I'm going to do it so, and also think about where you might want your whole raised dragonfly to be. So you can obviously pick anywhere, but if you've got half one at the side, you definitely want to have a whole one in the top half of your card. So if you start with that one, and then you can work your way around it. So if I do that one at that angle, and then I'm just going to keep on inking up, and then start from that image, and always have something underneath, because you want to make sure that you go into the edges and overlap, otherwise it looks doesn't look like it's a whole piece of card if you don't sort of go to the edges. Okay, and we can change them all angles. And then adding some here. So you just want to keep working around, changing your angles. And if you have a little gap, you can just add an extra bit there. And then I think I'll do that bit there. Okay. So I'll put that away for the minute. Just clean off my stamp. Okay, so that's our background. So you can see how sort of striking that is, and if you like that is, you know, perfectly fine. You can have that as your background. But if you put the vellum on, you can just see how that makes it a bit more muted. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to let that dry a little bit. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to stamp my sentiments. So there are some really nice sentiments on this stamp set. You are an inspiration for a true friend. May good things grow all year long, and thank you for your kindness. So there's some really nice sentiments on there, especially for the moment. I tend to do a lot of birthday cards, so I'm going to choose the Happy Birthday, and this is from the Approaching Perfection stamp set, which is one of the free products that you can get as part of the celebration event that's running until the end of February 2021. So yes, I'm going to use the Happy Birthday stamp from there, just because I know that I have a birthday that I would like to use it for. So again, I'm going to use Merry Merlot. So this is already the width of the card background. I'll just make sure that's straight. And then I want to make sure that it's, well, I want it to be central. You don't have to have it central, but I want it to be central. So just place that on there. And then I'm also going to use the small dragonflies. Actually, I think they are butterflies on that one, actually. So I'm going to use this image here, and I'm just going to decorate the edges. Just to fill in a bit of the white space there. Okay. The other thing we want to do is, just place that there a minute. We can also stamp the butterfly, not the butterfly, the dragonfly for the top. So, because this is a punch, the paper will always go in this way. So I'm going to stamp it with the image facing up from this edge. So I'm going to use the same dragonfly image, and I'm going to do it there. Okay. Now, this this punch has two images, so it'll always cut two shapes at the same time. So I'm just going to get that centered there. So there you go, there you have your little one. You can save that for later to use it for something else, or you can cut out a piece of the same colour card that you're using for your base, and then you could have that on your design. So I'm going to do that one on there. So the other thing I'm going to do on this one is, I don't know if you can see here, this has got a slight bit of coloration. What I've used is the Wink of Stella, and the Wink of Stella is like a glitter pen, like a glitter alcohol. I don't know if you can see it on there. It sort of looks clear, but it just gives, I don't know if you can see it, if it picks up, it just gives a little bit of a shine, and it also picks up the colour of the stamped image on the background, so it just fills in. It's a bit like a water wash, really. So I've added that onto there and there. So I should just show you what this pen does. You don't have to use it for your design, but you can just see it just picks up the ink from the stamped image, and it just gives it quite a nice pale, especially seeing as the background is going to look pale, but once it's got the vellum on, it just makes it nice and muted. So this pen is brilliant. it's called A Wink of Stella. It's like a little glitter ink, little glitter pen, and I use it so much for filling in images like this because it's got such a nice thin tip. If you've got small images that maybe you don't want to use a pen, you know, another pen or something like that, then you can just do that, and that just wipes off the colour that you've got from that ink. Okay, and similarly you can do it on these images as well, which is what I did on this one here. I did the same on here. I'll keep it blank for now just so you can see. Okay, we'll just let that one dry a minute. Okay, so we can start assembling it. So we have our base and we have our vellum. So because there is a bit of sort of a colour to this anyway, you can get away with using a double-sided sticky glue tape, which is what I'm using. So I'm just going to go down all 4 edges. You can use a liquid glue. I haven't used the liquid glue to be able to see how it goes, but the Tombow liquid glue does dry clear. So what you want to do is just go to the edges, she says. Right, sometimes an easier way is to hold them both so they're both on the bottom of the area you're working with. Move it to the left, and then at least you know that on the bottom edge they're both straight. And then I've got my ink on it somewhere. Okay, so that is the vellum on top of your stamped image. Okay, so like I said, if you hold both sort of against a flat surface like that, at least you know that one edge is straight, and then you can worry about trying to get the other edge straight. Okay, so that's going to be our base. So now we can add our sentiment. So again, I'm going to use double-sided tape, and I'm just going to have a central top and bottom. Make sure that that's straight. Okay. And we want to glue our base design. And these are brilliant, these silicone mats. It means that your glue doesn't stick to your paper or whatever surface you're using. So you just want to centre your background onto your card. And then we can add our... If you get the glue over the edge, just run your finger down it and it just brings it back onto the front edge so that it doesn't stick to the envelope or anything else that might be on the front of your card. Okay, so I don't know if you can see here, but I've got a slight bit of over stamping here. So when you stamp, if you want to wipe around your edges, you can do, just to make sure you get rid of any excess. But I'm going to go over that with this, so that actually works out quite well for me. So we just want to do that edge to edge again, straight on there, and then I'm going to use some sticky foam pads to raise the butterfly on the front. I'm going to have one for that wing, one for that wing, and a really narrow bit for the tail, just to support it. There you go, so give them a good press down. And then you can get rid of your backing pieces. Okay, and then I'm going to, got stuck to my fingers. Then I'm going to overlay it on top of one of the background images, like that. Okay, so that you can see it's... So, and then what I did on this one is I've got the insert, and I've also used the stamps to just finish off the inside, which just carries through the design really nicely onto the background. Okay, so there you have it. You have your card there. Like I said, again, it's using the Dragonfly Garden bundle. If you haven't used the punches before, they're really heavy actually, but they're really good quality and really nice and strong, so they give a really nice punched finish. Like I said, that's got the 10% bundle saving on it this year, so definitely recommend that. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. You can find the products at amandascraftedcards.stampingup.net, and if you have any questions, of course you can leave a note on the YouTube video, or get in contact with me. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.